So you're ready to upgrade your campaign farmer from our boy, our favorite gentleman, Kale. Also, Kale can still do this basically forever if you're not worried about speed. The person you're looking for, because it's 2022, time warp here, don't worry, is Skullcrown. Skullcrown is a great epic for campaign farming. You can build her a lot of different ways, but there's not a lot of great information online about how you can build her for easy campaign farming.
Nobody knows what they're doing. I do.
I'm going to show you. This is a basic level build, and I can prove it to you here because we are not even at 100% crit rate. We're at 146% crit damage. However, we do have a ton of attack. It's one of the highest attack champs for me on my entire account. 4699.
Longest Avenger.
Our defense doesn't matter. You're not getting hit. Speed at 201 really does matter. We do need to be plus 200 speed, and I'll show you the masteries in a second. This, I think, is probably the most budget setup I've seen anywhere for Skullcrown as a campaign farmer, and some of that is because our crit damage is so low and our crit rate is, well, it's not, you don't want 90% crit rate. You want 100% crit rate, and we're not even booked. So if you look at this, we don't even have Corrupting Touch booked. We have one book into Wave of Souls. I'm going to call this unbooked because the one book into the Unkillable doesn't have any effect at all. We have a blessing that's cruelty. This does not have a meaningful effect. We don't even get an attack bonus. This is very, very accessible, I hope, for you budget-wise if you have Skullcrown, and maybe we'll find a way to translate that to some other champs. We have no relic equipped either. For our masteries,
not much, is it?
we have Whirlwind of Death. This one matters because we're getting speed up. This one you're going to need. You don't need to take it down to Helm Smasher. You don't need to go any further here. Exalt Death doesn't matter. We were starting to get to Spirit Haste. We don't need it. She farms and no problem. By the way, how fast? Well, between 7 and 11 seconds. It's almost always 11. Occasionally, I've hit a 7, but it's basically 11. We have crit rate here on Deadly Precision. Absolutely mandatory here, especially for our champ at 90%. Crit damage of 10. And then we did take Heart of Glory. 5% bonus damage when attacking with full HP. The accuracy here doesn't matter. So what does it look like? You have a very basic budget build, and okay, boom, put some level 2s in there. Here's how we go. Here's what it looks like. Boing. Okay, first wave done, 35,000. Second wave, she goes again, and now by the time we get to the third wave, we go twice. Boom. Yeah, and that's how it works. Now this should be faster probably with some booking, because I think on the last wave she'll be able to use her nuke, not just her A1. But for me, again, I'm going to call it unbooked. I know I have one into the passive and then one into the A1. Basically unbooked. The skill that matters is unbooked. 9 seconds on that one. This is super easy and chill. And again, besides heavy attack stat, this is pretty dang doable. And it shows that this is actually possible without even 100% crit rate, although not recommended.
I wouldn't try that, my friend.
We've got our crit rate gloves. You should guess that by our crit damage being kind of low. Speed. This stat doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. But the speed does matter because we have to be a plus 200. We've got her in a defense banner. Not good. Not ideal at all. But I've got a tiny bit of attack and I've got some speed. That's all that matters. We have an attack percent chest. This is pretty much Mando. I don't think there's any way maybe your account's insane. But if your account's insane, you're probably not building Skullcrown for campaign farming, to be honest. This is an attack percent chest, 60%, and then crit damage of 17%. A teensy bit of speed. Other stats don't matter. Crit damage and speed, a little bit of attack. You're getting the pattern here. Crit damage, speed, and then crit rate on 5. Be nice if this had rolled, but speed on a double. Yeah, this is attack percent boots. Actually, that's probably worth pointing out. We were able to get enough speed on her overall, so we have her in the instinct set on this, so she gets 12% speed bonus and ignores 20% enemy death. If you had better gear in general, you could probably do something like put her in like lethal. I mean, I'm sure you could put her in savage. For me on the account, this was actually the only way that I was going to really hit these stats, but you might have a better option.
Just do what's best for you.
I put her in attack boots because, yeah, there's no way I'm hitting 4,700 attack without that. Defense doesn't matter, HP doesn't matter. Terrible crit rate roll here. It's a 5, but we did get it, and based on needing crit rate, I'm certainly glad we did. Now, it's of course going to be a crit damage amulet here. Not maxed out even. This could go up. We don't need it to. She's clearing. And I do have a nice ring. Yeah, this is one of the better rings on my account here. So we have a 26% total attack ring. I definitely recommend Skullcrown for a campaign farmer if you're upgrading from your starter. I mean, that sounds goofy maybe, but I didn't upgrade from my starter until a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and we're about to be 148 days in, so you don't need to. I'll show you what it looks like for the base farmer, as well as a little comparison. If some of you guys have forgotten, you're so far down the line on it, you're farming with, some dope legendaries. And what I found kind of a funny way is that basically all of the good legendaries I pulled are able to farm campaign like very early. And that makes sense, right, from a base stats. This is going to be a fine run for my boy Kale. In fact, actually a very fast run for him here. And this is going to be in 11 seconds. So, hey, shout out to Kale. Typically this for him, he's not going to get a full one shot with his nukes on every single one. And so we're looking at closer to 20 seconds often, or say 15 to like 22.
Not great, not terrible.
Skullcrown, if you don't know anything else about the hero, actually pretty okay for faction wars, pretty okay for Doom Tower if you put her in a stun set. And the reason is because she's got AoE, passive, we don't have Sinesha, that'd be cool, but revives at 30%, and then an unkillable for 1 turn every time their HP drops below 20. This actually helps her farm campaign if you want to solo level her in campaign, because yeah, I mean, she goes to die on the 3rd wave, and then she gets a double hit with her A1. Speaking of double hitting, places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. That's why she's attacking twice, 2 waves of attack, whatever, in the 1st and 2nd wave, and then on the 3rd wave she's opening A1, and then she's going into Corrupting Touch. Her multipliers are not good, but she's substantially easier, I feel like, to build the stats on than a rare. Something like Fellhound is a big campaign farmer, great farmer, but very stat heavy. And since she just starts with more stats as an epic, for me, quite a bit easier. Fun thing with Skullcrown, we actually have some lore.
What does the lore say?
This is important. This is important to the build, so stay with me, guys, and hit the like and subscribe as well if you either want to build Skullcrown or you're a lore hound. Speaking of Fellhound, okay, so she's a cult enforcer. She's part of the Mafia, La Cosa Nostra, the family. She renamed herself, and she's killing people. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe not somebody that you want your kid to grow up and act like, but a really, really excellent campaign farmer. And I can't really be too mad about that. It's good gear on her for me, but your gear, often people I think watching probably have even better gear. She's a really dope epic. And speaking of dope epics as well, if you see the link in the description here on the video and on all the videos, that link is going to start you with a free legendary Corrado Fox Hunter, and he's got 3 scars on his face. It's 4 if you hear, but we're going to turn them. 3 scars on his face, and you're going to get 3 free epics as well. Some great epics for account progression. The only thing you have to do to get this guy is create a brand new raid account. You'll get him as soon as tutorial is done, and you can kick off with a great legendary start on your account, which total W for you. 0 charge, start your own free-to-play journey, pay-to-win journey, whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, hit the link in the description. It's going to give you the best possible kickstart on a brand new account as well. Now, I mentioned something, there'll be a little freebie here. I mentioned something about looking at anybody else for a build. Now, Skullcrown can do this, and she's my fastest on the account. There's going to be a lot of heroes that can do it on a sort of tankier level. Things like Uragrim. Champions like Uragrim as well do a pretty good job, but much slower, working from poisons. Something like Diana actually is not going to do a good job. There's a Diana video that's either up or is coming up, because I think this is an incredible workhorse champion. Not a good fit. We only have 1 AoE, and it's not a very short cooldown. Of course, some of the key you'd think is AoE. Cheshire Cat does a great job as well. So yeah, anybody that's bringing AoE. Other benefit to a champion like Skullcrown, she has an aura. Now this aura does nothing for you on campaign, except it means you don't get the pop-up that there's no aura when you go to click. And I'll show you what that looks like. Yes, this is a weird sell point, I realize, but I've seen people do, is it Shield Guard? On like some of the rare accounts, which is really cool, but this would drive me nuts. But click it, every single time.
Oh no.
Yeah, that would just be pain. I'll show you what it looks like here on like Cheshire Cat now, who's pretty built out. I put a video up for him a while back. This guy goes absolutely crazy. Now if he procs, do we pull him out of Relentless? Yeah, and so he's probably gonna do it here in what? Yeah, 9. This is a legendary. This guy has some of the better gear on my entire account, and he's in Relentless. So he actually has like the same attack, a slightly slower speed, but yeah, 100% crit rate. A good Legos are going to do a super fast clear. What's great about Skullcrown though, and this is great in general with Epic's farming campaign or Rare's farming campaign, I don't have anywhere else I'm trying to use her, right? I'm not using her in Doom Tower waves and a stun set. I'm fine with using her in faction wars this way. She is absolutely somebody I would recommend building even now in 2025 if you're looking for a farmer, and if you're looking for control, really an excellent choice in a stun set. Besides that though, sure, she's been eclipsed a little bit, probably like, yeah, we can farm campaign with the Legos, but I love that we don't need her anywhere else, and so she can just straight do this. We'll forget about the gear. We don't have to think about it anymore. Thanks for watching. I hope this was fun for you guys. Haven't seen a Skullcrown video in a while, and I genuinely think this is the most accessible stat set of anything I've seen ever for Skullcrown builds. The attack is the one thing that might screw me over on that, and maybe that's not true on the attack. I have never seen anybody with sub 100% crit rate and such a low crit damage, and it's still a 7 to 11 second farm. I hope this was helpful for you on your build, or heck, maybe you can transition to another hero. Thanks for watching.